Which are the most common tax mistakes expats made in Germany and how to avoid them? Let's talk about this topic today and welcome back to another video here on GTax. My name is Roland Elias. I'm a German tax advisor. And yes, there are some mistakes many people, for example, many expats do regularly and how to avoid them. First of all, the first thing is not registering or properly or on time. This is the most common mistake because if you're delaying your city registration, the so-called Anmeldung, this can impact the tax ID issuance and health insurance and other cases. So this is the first thing you have to do. If you move to Germany, you have to take care of your city registration, that the German tax office knows you are here. For example, this is also very important to update your address with the authorities, that they know where you live, what you're doing, and so on. The next thing is, for example, you start working without having a tax ID. This is a very, very big problem because if you are because if you have no tax ID, so-called Steuer ID, then you can get a salary or something like this. This is, for example, the next important thing to know, that you get your salary on time. The next thing is failing to file a tax return, for example, when it's required. This is, for example, the big case if you say, okay, I don't have to do a tax return because, for example, I'm just an employee. That's the most common mistake because if you, for example, married or have multiple incomes, then you are you have to file a tax return. For example, if you're in the tax class 3-5 or with multiple incomes, then you have to file it. Or, for example, if you're receiving some state benefits, for example, Elterngeld is for parental or unemployment or something like this. This is also a big problem if you say, okay, I didn't have something to do, for example, freelancing or don't have property or something like this, but you have also to do a tax return if it's necessary for your state benefits and something like this if you're here in this position. The next thing is missing out on deductions and refunds. This is one of the biggest things I also get if the clients come to us the first time. They say, I have to pay a lot of taxes because I can't deduct anything. But that's not the way. For example, you can claim work-related expenses, for example, for commuting, for home office, for job tools or something like this. And I think everyone has, for example, a smartphone. This you can deduct from your income. Then the next thing is relocation costs, for example, or dual householding. If you say, okay, I, for example, live in Munich, but I work in Berlin or something like this, then you can do, for example, a dual household deduction or something like this. Next thing is, for example, the health insurance premiums, something like this, or private pension contributions. These one you can deduct from your taxes because of your deduction function of your income. You can reduce the tax you have to pay. This is very important. For example, if you're moving to Germany as a student, you should also do a tax return because also if you don't have any income, you can round up or sum up all of your losses, and then you can say, okay, all your losses then get deducted if you first start working. This is very important. For example, this is also a big thing. Voluntary tax filing is a very important thing because most of the deductions you just get if you do a tax return. Next thing is misunderstanding tax obligations tied to visa or residency. This is a very important thing. That most of the people think, hey, I'm here on a visa or something like this, and then I don't have to do a tax return or a tax filing, or just because I'm failing to track the 183-day rule or something like this. That's not that's also a big problem because it's also a big problem if you're not declaring foreign bank accounts, rental income from abroad, or investments or something like this. This might be a big mistake you can do. The next and very important thing are documentation and missed deadlines. For example, not keeping receipts or records of deductible expenses, missing, for example, July 31 as a deadline. If you have a tax advisor, it's February 28, for example, 28th, next year. Or losing, for example, access to your tax accounts, or not understanding, for example, the things you get from the tax office, or yeah, if you're ignoring the reminders of the German tax office, then this might be a big thing, because at the end, the local tax office will always get you. And if you don't play by the rules, you might end up also in prison. It's very often that the German tax office will make, for example, house visits, and these are not the kind of you wanna have, because this might mean you're in a big trouble. So, do you have any other things you would like me to share with you here online? Then keep it up in the comments below. I wish you a very good day and a nice start.